I'm WG, and the CZN 2026 Roadmap Showcase, this 70-minute behemoth, has been nothing but a gift right here. Massive changes, massive updates, massive improvements, massive content, massive fixes. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the amount of stuff that was mentioned in here, and the following is going to be a full breakdown of what you can expect and a full recap without you having to watch the 70 minutes to know what is going on and what's going to happen, like Epiphany rerolls and save data editing tickets. Because I already covered it in a separate video, brief rundown: Serenia is going to be Instinct Hunter Limited. She is going to be, alongside her partner, a limited unit, Instinct and Hunter, and the best set you can pre-farm for her is going to be the newly introduced Instinct Damage Ravaging related set, and that is because, as you can see right here, you deal high tenacity damage, meaning you ravage enemies, and then you ravage enemies to deal increased damage to them. So that is Serenia. So we will be using the chaoszeronightmare Dev Note Roadmap Showcase Summary as our baseline, and then if I feel the need to add anything more, or if they've missed out something, we'll be swapping over to the official video and going to the parts right there. So we're starting in with obviously an introduction and what they kind of intend to do. So it's going to be the consolidated summary. So while every aspect of development is important, the primary focus this time around really was the road-like mode. You can look forward to a lot of those changes. So high intensity save data, so we are going to reducing player fatigue and stuff like that. So let's have a look. Number one, the option was reduce save data farming difficulty through zero system improvements. Yes. Number two, a roguelike experience that pushes beyond existing limits via Chaos Assault. Little sneak peek. No used pile. If you know what that means, you should already be hyped. 3. Memory manipulation items that allow save data editing in roguelike modes where save data is not earned. The core development is to restructure the play experience so that through repeated engagement with end content independence of save data, players can naturally reach the practical limits of their decks they envision. So, building a more and refined roguelike experience, we're introducing and improving various systems to enhance character appeal, adding diverse content to support richer seasonal enjoyment, and expanding end content beyond pure tech-focused designs. Based on feedback from Protoss, they'll address and iron out weaknesses and improve on the game's biggest strengths. So, Season 2 update, the world expansion and codex improvements. Within the codex there will now be a unique option that is called the Divine Intervention. The Divine Intervention, short things first, is pretty much a guaranteed mutant sample remove type event. What that means is you will get a powerful card. You get a powerful card and you can use that card to swap out a character's card. Not only will that card make the chaos easier, but it won't make it into your final save data, which is a zero save data cost, zero faint memory cost remove at the tip of your fingers, so long as you go into a codex that has the unique option Divine Intervention. So that is pretty much the breakdown of why this is so important. Psychological counseling improvements. So now if you go and counsel a character, there can be you taking the wrong approach, you could say, and that can break down your character even further. So there's like an advanced mental breakdown if you do it wrong, but do not fear. The only change is you lose the ability to gain affinity from this. You do not lose any save data or anything the like. Interaction feature improvements. Touch reactions will be added for combatants in the lobby, cafe and restaurants, and also they want to make it possible for you to dine together with your current combatants at a table in Starshine Dinner, which is really interesting, and then there'll also be some DMs sent to you based on a combatant's mental state. The Galactic Martial Arts Tournament is the newest game mode, you could say, that will be, I think, introduced closer to the start of Season 2, and the way it works is that you'll be in a martial arts tournament yourself while getting a special power-up called the ability to add monster cards from outside into your save data to help you with these fights, but these monster cards will only be exclusive to the Galactic Martial Arts Tournament. So this is an event, it will be an event, but it will also become permanent after, so even if you do miss it, you can play it at any time. Then also they've basically introduced 2 new bosses. There was the first change is the improvement to, I guess, this like super creepy monster that's been slowly building up. This one is going to get changed a bit into this like double face monster, as you can see. So this is one of these new monster types, kind of like a also he's in this galactic tournament. It's kind of like an aggressive mutant with self-healing capabilities, which you can also see with this like fluid tank in his back. This is the next type of introduced monster. This is a fusion of kings, conquerors, crusaders, and overall warriors, just heroes of the planet, fused into like one abominable abomination right here. You can see this with like the multi-fingers in his face. And then also they introduced it as a gigantic monster. They called it a gigantic monster. He is a direct subsidiary of a divine entity, and this is who you're going to face. This like, I don't know, it looks like a griffin, I would say, with like these giant wings. So this thing is meant to be gigantic. And also important to note here, with these new monsters, they introduce the ability to break characters' parts. So you'll be able to like break a hand, break a weapon, and the like. That will then further shape the outcome of the fight, which is something they'll further improve upon and also introduce more in the future. So there will be more combat diversity. So those were the monsters, and now season board metals. What this is this right here. This is multiple different challenges happening in the season that then want you to do certain things, and for those you will be getting rewarded with kind of like this collection screen, and your goal would be for every season to collect every single one of these emblems. It's purely for save data, right? Because you can put it on save data for save data's sake, but also for yeah, it's just collection, right? It's just collection, it's just extra stuff. If you're not interested in that, that's fine, but if you're looking forward to something like that, it is actually really damn nice. Then we have the Spiral Tower. So the Spiral Tower is regular content that goes up to 150 floors. Let's see. So this right here is the tower. It has 150 stages, but only 30 sub-stages. What that means is you have one stage, and that stage consists of you having to beat 5 waves to beat the stage. If you beat the stage, you can continue on into the next stage to again beat 5 waves, meaning there is going to be 30 of these stage instances allowing you to climb through this Tower of Screams. Important to note here, there is no turn limit whatsoever on these stages. All these waves are consecutive, meaning that you need a certain amount of healing in your team, because every one of your stress, healing, and health and resources will be carried over into the next fight. And they severely emphasize the usage of more defensive setups, as well as also counterattack characters like Magna in specific. So that is the Tower of Screams. Next up is the Proto Sync system and Growth Adjustment system. What that means is you'll have the ability to increase a combatant's level, potential, and memories to a certain point so that you can try them out before investing into them. So it's pretty much just free upgrades for a character, so you can put him into a team, you can play around with him, you can see if you like him or not, and then you can either upgrade him yourself to push him even further, or you can just put in a different combatant into this Proto Sync menu. Then this image right here, even though it doesn't have a description, is you're going to be playing the Chaos and you'll be finding lore bits. These lore bits are part of every single divinity, and you can get up to 20 to learn about the divine lore of these entities. Lore, divine lore, right? And then this is just a place for you to, on a glance, be able to see which equipment do you have unlocked, how is your progression in Chaos looking like, which cards do you have unlocked. It's just like a hub for you to see your Chaos related unlock progression. This is kind of like a preview of how this whole advanced breakdown system looks like. These are the medals. And then this one right here is in the tower itself. You will be able to see how have people been able to beat the stage, so that you could, for example, find inspiration, but also, as you can see right here with the stickers, it should be a goal for you to try to beat the piece of content with the character in question to get a sticker as a reward. So it makes it more rewarding and you can collect more things for your favorite characters. Then this right here is the ability to multi-sweep. I think this is the enhancement system. Let's see if they come to the multi-sweep. Save data, codec adjustments, balance adjustments. But yeah, regardless of if they do or don't come to it, the important thing you need to know is you will be able to play, like let's say you play a resource stage and you have usually 3 waves at 20 stamina. Now you can play 1 wave at 60 to get the full reward, bringing you quality of life. So yeah, prior to the Protosync, added to Galactic Disasters to be deployed immediately during the season with the events get scaled up. So yeah, that's just the mode. This is just the mode improvement. Save data can still be obtained as usual. So there will be also, I guess, a more light-hearted way to build decks. They didn't completely go into specifics. We'll have to see how they implement it. But that is also something of a game mode that actually does exist. So then save data presets. So now you'll be able to combine 3 presets into a team and then save data preset swap, which is this image right here, allowing you to not have to do as much save data swapping, especially not for different pieces of content. And you can obviously also name it as well. Then borrow save data. Yes, you read that correctly. You will have the ability to borrow a save data of anyone on your friends list once per day. But at the moment, they said for now, it is limited to only being used in the simulation game mode. So you could, for example, take a overpowered Meilin from one of your friends and take on Judas or somebody else, right? Like you can, anything simulation you can do with this. Then Guild Office is just overall more incentive for you to just play Chaos. It's going to be easy missions that you're going to do regardless. You're going to be playing Chaos, and you get the Crystals of Discord, which is the purple currency that we can use for the shop that they've introduced recently, and then also just growth currency. At the end of the day, Guild Office equals free rewards for low effort. The Zero System upgrade rework is actually incredibly huge. So, you know how you had your Zero System buffs going forward, going up, and then ending in like this Divine Protocol. This is where the key comes in that I hyped up at the beginning. So, first off, accessibility permissions increase basic steps and Epiphany activation rates. That is for you unlocking stage 1. Upon unlocking stage 2, called the Authority expansion, you can get the Divine Representative encounter, you can get more rare unidentified areas, and then stage 3, this is where it gets important. The Administrator mode provides powerful effects including additional Divine Representative choices, increased Divine Epiphany activation rates, and long requested features such as reapplying Epiphanies to cards or already have it, selectively duplicating cards will be introduced with this. So it's going to be Epiphany reroll and dedicated selective copying on top, making save data acquisition that much easier. So, additionally, during each season, a season-defining skill tree called the environmental variables will be added. The way this looks like is this right here. For each season that you play, you'll then be able to just earn points just for playing Chaos. And I think those are further stat upgrades as well as potentially some rewards in between. But it's just one more way for you to progress and make yourself stronger and better in the, in the Zero System. This is how the Guild Office looks like. And this is the Borrow Friend, I guess you could say incentive. And then, let's see, this is the, where were we? Zero System upgrade. Yeah, so a new unique codex will be introduced, offering a completely different experience from standard gameplay through fixed level design and special objectives. So just in case, this is how it looks like. At the top is mode 1 or stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 for the unlocking of the Zero System. And then we have ourselves our skill trees right here. where you can have a bit of a briefer look. But this, so you know how we talked about these special encounters that guarantee you the chance to swap a card and have it be removed? That is how it looks like on a map. It's going to be this like purple butterfly modifier. And then the special map, this. It's going to be a purple map. It's going to be completely different from normal Chaos. And the way, for example, one of the devs described it was, it could be a map where you just go in and it's just going to be 5 unidentified areas in a row. And that's it, right? Like, these maps are completely different from what you're used to usual Chaoses, and they are meant as like surprises and rewards for you to play the Chaos, because you can obtain them upon merging new areas, but also upon beating an area and getting offered 3 new planets for doing so. Alright, so then let's get into, I guess, Season 2 update balance adjustments. So here we have these images, everything very shiny. So, CZN strives for engaging combat design where diverse combatants fulfill unique roles in their respective positions and multiple strategic choices can coexist. However, when certain characters, builds or synergies become overly dominant and solidify in just one strategy, other options lose their value, ultimately limiting the gameplay diversity. From the perspective of long-term experience and sustainable live service, believe such situations require thoughtful balance adjustments. The development team continuously collects and analyzes data such as Epiphany and card selection rates, meta share, and effective power values across combinations and synergies. Based on this data, we carefully determine both the targets and directions of balance changes. The core objective of our balance adjustments is to expand the meta and gameplay diversity by strengthening characters and builds that have seen relatively low usage. Emphasis on strengthening. Through this approach, we aim to provide Protoss with the new strategic options to create an environment where previously overlooked characters and builds can be meaningfully re-explored. At the start of each new season, they'll do these continuous balance adjustments. In the upcoming Season 2, the following major adjustments will be applied. Common cards with low adaptation rates will be improved. So cards that are not rally, cards that are not attack exclamation mark and the like, will get a stat increase, but also changes in general. Healing mechanics for controller combatants will be receiving a buff, meaning in actuality everybody that's not Mika, so Nia, Rey, Orlea and Cassius will all become more proficient at healing. The underutilized builds, unique cards and epiphanies, including those related to Yuki, will receive buffs, meaning that it is not just Yuki buffs, but character buffs as a whole. Overall, underutilized unique cards, epiphanies, and build-specific ones will be improved. At the 4th point, they'll update partner passive effects, meaning that they'll probably make 4-star and 5-star characters stronger, whereas the 3-star characters are probably going to be like that lower baseline, because currently there is some 3-star partners that can outshine 4 and 5-star partners rather easily in most scenarios. And then from a long-term perspective, balance changes will be applied only in cases where certain mechanics exert enough influence to compromise the game's overall design. Important. Combats subjected to these specific adjustments are Cassius and Tressa. Currently, the synergy between these two characters generates an excessive amount of cards beyond what was originally intended, resulting in a level of power that heavily disrupts game balance. This has also led to unusually long battles, often 3 or 4 times longer than normal. Well, an example for this is if somebody does a high tier Great Rift run that can take upwards of 30 minutes to an hour to just straight up play the 10 rounds. So the development team believes that the situation undermines the integrity of the game's overall design and overwhelms other strategic options, ultimately diminishing the diversity of gameplay experience available to the Protoss. So adjustments are necessary. The goal is not to weaken the combatants themselves. Adjustments will instead focus on addressing mechanics that threaten the game design and overall keeping long-term value. While unintended functionalities will be fixed, our top priority is preserve each character's intended role and relative value as much as possible. Even after these changes, Tressa will continue to shine as one of the game's strongest damage dealers, and Cassius will also receive additional buffs alongside the adjustments, ensuring he remains an appealing and competitive option moving forward. While these changes aim to maintain each character's relative role and position, we understand that some players may still perceive an overall decrease in power. For this reason, Protoss will be able to request a character recall at their discretion. When using a character recall, all resources invested in their character will be fully refunded, and additional items that allow limited save data adjustment will also be granted. In addition, based on our experience from Season 1, we plan to significantly reduce player fatigue in Great Rift while enhancing the depth and enjoyment. The goal is to make this content more accessible and enjoyable for a wider range of people. So, the other improvements in the Season 2 update. You will now be able to decorate your player ID with stickers and lobby backgrounds. And the reason why that is at least somewhat important is because through the borrow feature, you can now in your friends list see characters' player IDs on top of also save data, save data fashion. So save data fashion, ID fashion is here. Then next up, this all condenses down to they're going to be improving the way the UI for memory fragments looks, from how smooth it is to click, to how long does it take you to level up items, to how many menus do you have to click through to follow all these steps. It's all going to become way better. And then other quality of life features are the ability to skip story. You won't be able to completely skip the story, but you'll be able to skip parts of it, mainly relevant to the story as a whole. And then the simulation repeat counts will be removed and replaced with the multiplayer, as we already briefly talked about. And then also something else is you can now skip unidentified area text in unidentified areas so long as you've done those already, massively cutting down on the time it takes you to play a chaos run, while also them speeding up how long it takes to play a character's card until you can play a character's next card if they have an animation. So think purple and legendary, purple cards or a character's ultimate. Those, it will be faster to play cards as a whole. And then we already get a bit into Season 3. So, Chaos Assault. One of the core appeals of the roguelike genre lies in navigating constant threats and choices while striving for strategies and just surviving. The important part here is that Chaos Assault itself mainly wants you to play the game as what it is. A roguelike, not a roguelike deck builder or a roguelike save data builder, but a roguelike game. So, let's have a look at how they want to do that. Unlike existing Chaos, which begins relatively safely in the outer regions, you'll already start in a more dangerous and lethal area. Furthermore, there will also be various gods to give you more buffs and make it more intense and make more things happen. Dopamine, huh? You get the deal. And then, let's see. While new deck building elements are added to overcome these changes, we're also developing this as a high difficulty mode featuring stronger and more varied monsters along with new penalties. Whoops. So, what they haven't mentioned here and what you need to put in your head is Chaos Assault does not yield save data. Chaos Assault can be played only for the purpose of clearing it. It doesn't yield save data, but what it does yield is save data editing tickets. The ability to edit save data post finishing. What they mentioned were the ability to duplicate a different card, the ability to change the epiphany of a card that is already in your deck. So think you have the perfect 4-move example, 4-move basic attack and defense for your Mei Lin, and now it's going to allow you to change the Rising Dragon Spire from 1 hit to passion card to 1 hit per passion card. So it is going to massively make it easier to build those decks, especially those you see online that seem a bit out of reach, only in degenerate unemployed behavior. That is going to help you in that direction. So then here, disabling the discard pile system. I teased it a bit earlier, but what this means for you is the one thing that the discard pile system stops is infinite turns. One of the things that people always bring up with especially Slay the Spire is the ability to play infinite turns. The concept of an infinite turn would be a simple example. Imagine you have 10 cards. Out of these 10 cards, 5 of them cost you nothing, 5 of them cost you 1 AP. If these 10 cards together have the ability to generate 5 AP, that means you'll be able to play your whole deck. If then these cards also include card draw, because instead of them being only able to be used once, you can then continuously pull your entire deck. So a good example would be this. We have 2 copies of the +2 hit for Shizuru's multi-hit of her slash attack, right? We have 2 copies of that +2 hits, and we have a +40% increase Oni Hunt. Instead of only being able to get +2 hits and +40%, with the right deck and the right setup, which can absolutely happen during Chaos Assault, you can play these cards, let's say 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times, 20 times in a turn, meaning that in one turn you would be able to get up to 40 hits, and up to, let's say, +400% bonus. That is all possible. So Chaos Assault will be understood as a constraint-free roguelike challenge mode that allows you to play beyond traditional balancing means. Purification Protocol. The Purification Protocol is a content where combatants must be deployed across multiple areas to defeat malware codes to restore a hacked system. Unlike in standard combat, the stress levels will not be reset, meaning that they describe this as, again, another set of high difficulty content where the stress management becomes important, because you'll be playing stage after stage after stage after stage after stage after stage with your save data after stage while accruing more stress levels. To counter these changes, a system called the Codebreaker will be available, and Codebreakers are support effects that can be selected upon entering a stage, and they can be requested once or I guess multiple times, and they can allow you to survive these critical moments. So then it means it's important for you to survive, to choose the right Codebreaker. So then let's go through these images right here. So this right here is the updated friends list, and these are then all the characters that somebody can use a save data of yours from. This one is the Codebreaker event, how it looks like. So you beat 6 stages here, you beat 11 stages there. These seem to have elemental typing as well. And then challenge missions per combatant. So you'll now get, you could say, achievements. One of the examples mentioned was an Orlea retaining cards 100 times, which is then going to give you stickers. It's just going to be, you could say, character mastery. Then the growth guide right here is, the whole point of the growth guide is to help players better understand what to run on a character and which stats to run. Another important mention here is they'll also introduce stat highlighting during the Gear UI and UX update, allowing you to more intuitively understand which stats are good for a character. How good that will be, we'll have to see. How reliable it is, we'll have to judge that for ourselves. But they are making sure that even players that do not watch it on YouTube or that just play the game will have an easier time. Then another big massive game mode, but this one coming later. It's like season 3. It's going to be a while. The ability to confront the escalating threat of chaos, combatants will gain access to a new power. So that is going to be an improvement to characters. You could call it awakening. Let's call it character awakening. So beyond simple step progression, corruption introduces new effects and skill changes that allow combatants to shine in new ways. The whole point of this is, if a character only has one build, this is going to help them to have 2 or 3. And corrupted combatants will also receive unique breakdown visuals, dialogues, and designs, meaning that you're getting somewhat of a character skin for these characters. And the 2 characters mentioned are Hugo and Orlea. Hugo and Orlea will be the first 2 characters to receive this corruption empowerment, and in the future they'll be further adding more characters there. So per combatant, targeted for first release in season 3. They look forward to seeing combatants who have trouble in the meta or those solidified into standardized builds to again show their strength with corruption. Then we have ourselves, these are the images for Hugo and Orlea if you're interested in those. and we have ourselves the key mapping. So they make sure that there's more keys you can use, like potentially the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 keys to play cards in the chaos mode. And then also the trauma code will get a full voiceover, and they'll improve the, yeah, you could say the lore and overall feel and flow of the game with scenario improvements. Through these adjustments, we aim to evolve the Great Rift into content that offers new strategic depth each season. We've shared an overview of the currently in development, including Galactic Disaster Season 2 and 3. In addition to what was introduced today, many other improvements are still in preparation, and they'll share more details the closer we get to them being released. So, then, as once more, they thank us, and I thank them, because this dev stream itself, it was an absolute pleasure, I'll tell you, and that is the end right here. So, kind of as a last thing, we'll just, you could say, do a bit of fact checking of have we caught everything that we wanted to catch, were there any things that slipped past us, and for that we have, I think, them going back to the roadmap. We obviously want the there you go. So, let's just have a look. So this is just the December update. We have ourselves Serenial and Peko once again being limited units, limited banner units, and the chapter 3 for season 1. The second half of the Great Rift, meaning the first Great Rift ends, the second comes out, new boss, new modifiers, new applications, probably won't be Mika, Cassius, Tressa again as a team, because the emphasis is on ravaging characters, which Serenial is part of. Then there'll also be the minimap improvements. It just means you see more icons on the minimap, and there will also be the first introduction of double drop events. From December 31st to January 7th, there will be a double drop event for simulation, allowing you to farm characters more easily, and a bit of like a New Year's celebration, you could say. This is the Tower of Screams, the game mode with the 150 stages we've talked about, the UI and UX improvements, the unique codex options, the story skip feature, and also the simulation gameplay, which is the ability to run a stage 3 times in once instead of multiple times. So that is our January checked off. Then we have ourselves the Galactic Disaster Season 2 story. The arena is the event they mentioned, the Galactic Arena. We're still not quite sure when exactly the season starts, because you can see season 1 is going to end on January 14th, but the season 2 is going to start in February, meaning the real question is what happens from January 14th to February. We still have to see a bit more details there. Then here we have the Zero System upgrade and seasonal skill trees. So this right here in February is where we get the Epiphany reroll, the all the card rerolls, and all those further upgrades as far as we can tell. And then the Proto Sync is the ability to again upgrade whatever Protoss you want. The Arena is the Galactic Arena game mode that we've talked about. The Decorating ID cards is Decorating ID cards. And then we'll also get the balance adjustments for Yuki, for Tressa, for Cassius, for I did balance adjustments for Tressa and Cassius, and the character buffs to every character with underutilized cards, specific cards of those, and in particularly mentioned Yuki. And then also the increase to ability to heal for every healer that is not Mika. Then also new combatant and partner, that is 9. If you're interested in what she looks like, they gave us a brief preview. I mean, I might as well just give you all of it. Let's see. I think it's, yeah, there you go. So this is 9. She is a great sword wielding waifu, you could say. And this is then the last one. So we now know all 3 combatants that are at least the next 3 to come after Serenial, and they are going to be in order. We have ourselves, let's see, we have ourselves Narja, who is, so we have ourselves Narja, then we have ourselves 9, and then after 9, we have, right here, Tefera. So Narja, 9, Tefera. Those are the units you can start meeting, and you can see Tefera, for example, is February 25th, meaning that if you subtract 3 weeks of that, that means 9 is going to be February 4th. So by process of elimination, our combatant released on January 14th is, I think when it ends January 14th, is going to be Naja, and then Tefera, so Naja is going to release, but she's not going to be part of Season 2. She's going to be kind of like this prelude character, how Haru was to Season 1. So, yeah, those were these characters right here. Alright, let's continue to check things off one at a time. And then right here, Chaos Assault was the super roguelike game mode. Corruption mode is the buffs to Hugo and Orlea. The Purification Protocol is the super stress mode. The fully voiced trauma codes are just that. The lore improvements right here. The achievements for each combatants. And then key mapping for PC. This is just a more briefer-ish overview, and by no means is that everything that we're going to be getting going towards April of 2026. But this has been, for this video, it in terms of the full breakdown of the 70-minute long roadmap showcase. I hope you were able to take something away from this, and I hope I made it as clear as possible. Peace!